Hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to another Where Are You video. I am adding another video to my series. Now if you're new here, my Where Are You series is a series concentrating on missing people, whether that be cold cases or current cases. I do try to do a mixture of the two and keep it quite equal. Today's case is actually a bit of a cold case, but it really struggled to get the media attention it deserved, so I'm hoping, because I've not seen a lot online about this, that I can do it justice today. So if you do enjoy this content, this true crime content, then please make sure you hit that subscribe button, join my little family that I've got going here, and also turn on that bell so you're notified every single time that I post. So today we are talking about the disappearance of Tiffany Whitton. Now this case was highly suggested by a couple of my subscribers, so I put it straight on my list and decided to cover it. Now this case has made me very frustrating, and if you've not heard of this case before, I can guarantee it will frustrate you as well. So let me know in the comments what you think about this case and if you think anything could have been done better. So I'm going to give my usual disclaimer before I get into the video. I don't mean no harm to anybody that is involved in this video. I'm simply putting this video together with information from the internet just to raise a bit of awareness on the case. And I apologise if I do pronounce anything wrong, just let me know in the comments politely, because I am interested if I am saying something wrong, so please let me know. So let's jump right into Tiffany's case. Tiffany Whitton was born on the 30th of January in 1987 in Atlanta, Georgia. Now shortly after she was born, her parents did divorce, but despite this she was still a happy, bright child. As Tiffany was growing older, her mother, Lisa Daniels, realised that there was something a little off with Tiffany. She was stealing other children's toys and making lies up, and as she got older the lies increased and she would just constantly lie about everything. When Tiffany was 15, she decided to drop out of high school despite the fact that she had big plans for her future. Tiffany then discovered that she was pregnant. Now, she did decide to give up the child for adoption, but this greatly affected her, and it's something that would shadow over her into her adult life. By the time that she was 21, she had another daughter, but unfortunately she had started to use drugs and she was getting herself in trouble a lot for shoplifting. But despite the drugs and the petty crime, Tiffany was working. She was working as a waitress and a bartender. In 2011, she was living in Dalton when she was arrested and charged for a home invasion. Now, Tiffany claimed that the victim stole a small amount of money from her, but police believe that this was a drug deal gone wrong. For this home invasion, Tiffany was sentenced to 4.5 months in prison. So she had to complete a drug rehabilitation course when she was released from prison, and in the meantime her mum Lisa had custody of her daughter. She said that Tiffany needed to get her act together and stay clean to regain the custody of her daughter. When she was released, she did manage to stay clean and she was doing really well, and she got a job as a waitress in a local IHOP. During this time, Tiffany did have a lot of failed relationships, and she also fell out with her roommate that she was staying with because she caught Tiffany stealing. Now this was all happening up until she met Ashley Claude. She felt a connection with Ashley. He was a young single father himself who had a young daughter. The only downside to this relationship was that he was a drug addict as well, and not long after starting their relationship they both started to take meth together, and over time Tiffany did become addicted to heroin. Their relationship was really rocky and they had a lot of arguments, and the arguments would constantly escalate and cause members of the public to be very concerned. There was numbers of calls made to the police about the disturbance, and they also got evicted from a motel because of their arguments. So Tiffany's addiction was really starting to get the better of her. She was even turning up to work with needle marks where she had recently injected Her employers were really understanding and they just sent her home when she arrived with needle marks, because obviously they couldn't have someone working with that on show because it would look really bad for the company. But they then caught Tiffany stealing from the IHOP store, so at that point they had to sack her. After everything that happened, Tiffany's mother, Lisa, decided to cut all ties with Tiffany. But her grandmother did try her hardest to stay in Tiffany's life. On the 8th of September 2013, Tiffany's grandmother allowed Tiffany, Ashley and his younger daughter to come over and do some laundry. But little did she know that this would be the last time that she would see Tiffany. On the 12th of September 2013, Tiffany and Ashley had gone over to a friend's house to take drugs. Now this friend was called Stephen. Shortly after midnight on the 13th of September, they somehow borrowed a truck and then made their way to the local Walmart. They then arrived to the store around 1 AM and started shopping. For the next hour in the store, security guards had actually had their eye on Tiffany and Ashley because they were acting really suspicious, and obviously they both had previous. The security guards did pick up on how they were both clearly high as well. Ashley picked up some clothes for his daughter and also a portable speaker. And whilst watching the CCTV, security guards believed that Tiffany had actually stolen or intended to steal some clothes. At around 2 AM, they started to have a disagreement in the store. During this disagreement, Tiffany had actually stormed off towards the front of the store, whilst Ashley made his way to the checkout to pay for the items that he had picked up. When Ashley was paying for the items, he actually pulled out a roll of money, which was really suspicious for the security guards. Tiffany then abandoned the shopping cart and made her way to the exit. But this is where security guards stopped her. So the security guard had hold of her by her handbag strap, and Tiffany just wiggled straight out of the handbag, took her shoes off and then bolted out of the store. No one, not even the security guards, had ran after her to try and stop her. They believed she would come right back to the store as she had left her purse and she had no shoes on. And this is the last time that Tiffany was seen by anyone. Ashley does say that he did go out into the car park to try and look for Tiffany. He didn't go back to the truck as he said there was drugs inside the car and he didn't want to be caught and arrested with them drugs. He said he had looked near local shops in the area and he also went to ask members of staff at the local IHOP, which is the IHOP that Tiffany had previously worked at, and none of them had seen Tiffany. Members of the staff in the store did clarify that Ashley did in fact go to the store to ask them, but they said they seen him just sat on the bench outside. So the members of staff had told Ashley just to call Tiffany, but for some reason he had Tiffany's phone. About an hour and a half later, their friend Stephen from earlier in the night came to the IHOP store to pick up Ashley and take him back to his home. Stephen had said that Ashley told him that Tiffany had disappeared and that he had been looking for her and that he genuinely had no idea where she was. After returning to Stephen's home, the two decided to drive around the area to see if they could see Tiffany. The next day, Ashley returned home and he spent the next several days searching for Tiffany. He even called old friends of hers and boyfriends, but for some reason he still didn't think to call the police or to call Tiffany's mother. Tiffany's family only started to get concerned in the following months after her disappearance. They had started to receive posts for her and she didn't contact family on people's birthdays or even just to say hello. Lisa at first thought that Tiffany was purposely ignoring her until she decided to check her Facebook page and she noticed that Tiffany had not been active on there since the 1st of September, and this is very unusual as Tiffany was constantly on social media. Tiffany's grandmother decided to call Ashley and this is when she learned that Ashley had not seen him since the 13th of September either. There was also messages on Ashley's social media that friends had left for her, showing that they was concerned because they hadn't heard from her. But for some reason, Tiffany's family still decided to wait it out over the Christmas period. They thought she might call with it being Christmas, but when Tiffany didn't get in contact, the family decided to report her missing in January 2014. When police started their investigations into this case, it was very clear that they were not interested in it. They just believed that she was a drug addict who had run away, or who was trying to escape the law, or didn't want to be found. The case was then passed over to Johnny Muller, who, when he interviewed Lisa, came to the conclusion that this just wasn't a typical case that the police thought it was. He actually thought there was a high chance that Tiffany was dead, and he knew that the police just couldn't make a concrete investigation due to the time between her actually disappearing and being reported missing. She actually believed that Ashley was in fact involved in Tiffany's disappearance. In March, police raided the home that Tiffany and Ashley had shared. They came across drugs, they came across drug paraphernalia, and they came across guns. There was feces all over the home, used needles, and it was just in a horrendous state. And Ashley even had 2 children, one of them being his own child, in that home. There was a total of 8 people arrested on that night, including Ashley, and the 2 children were taken to temporary foster care. They exclusively searched the home, and they also exclusively searched Ashley's mother's home to try and find any trace of Tiffany, but unfortunately nothing at all was found. In 2015, Ashley was charged for the possession of drugs and guns, and he was sentenced to a minimum of 10 years in prison. And the judge actually said at the trial that he wouldn't get less than 10 years because he was just being uncooperative with Tiffany's case, and he was not helping police at all. In mid-2015, the investigation was passed over to a new detective. He received an anonymous tip that at the time of Tiffany's disappearance, he was seen at a lake in Atlanta, and he was with a couple of friends. He was seen throwing something off of a bridge into the lake. The person who gave the tip had also said that whatever they'd thrown into the water had damaged the bridge. And when the detective went to check on this lead, he could see the same damage that this person was explaining. They decided to search the lake, and they found what had been thrown in, and they determined it was just something from construction. It didn't have any significance to Tiffany's case. And to date, that is the last time that police even attempted to search for Tiffany. So there has been various articles covered on this case. There's been various different interviews done with Tiffany's family, Tiffany's ex-boyfriend, with everybody, and this still hasn't brought up anything different in the case. Tiffany's mother believes that Tiffany is unfortunately dead, and she believes that Ashley is in fact responsible. The reason she believes this is because Ashley didn't tell anybody that Tiffany was actually missing. Also, in prison, when he was having visiting with a female, someone actually recorded that visit, and it showed Ashley waving the missing poster around and saying, "They think I killed this bitch for real." And then he just shrugged it off and laughed. And it's also known that he is still a suspect in this case. Unfortunately, we are no closer to finding Tiffany, whether she is dead or alive. Things in this case could have been so much different if police were notified earlier, or if police actually give this case some sort of interest right away when it was reported. I think they did very wrong to just assume that she was just one of these runaways just because she was a drug addict. When her family reported it missing, that shows that there is a concern. Yes, her family went through the drug addiction with her, but they knew if something was wrong. So the police should have listened to the family straight away. And as for the family and Ashley together, I think this really should have been reported earlier, and today we might have known what happened to Tiffany, or she might be at home now. but I do hope that more information comes to light on this case. So that is all for today's Where Are You video. If you have any suggestions of any cases at all, please let me know down below. I need to expand my list because it is getting a little slim at the moment. I'm going to try and post one true crime video a week and one Where Are You video, so if you have any suggestions at all, please let me know. Don't forget to go and check out my social medias, and also follow my Patreon as well if you want to. If you want to support me over there, the link is in the bio. I'd appreciate it. I'm hoping to be able to use it to get a new ring light because I broke mine, and as you can tell the lighting's atrocious, but I'm trying to just work with what I've got. So I hope it doesn't bother you too much. So if you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up. But don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and I shall see you in my next true crime video. Bye.